The Maryland Food Insecurity Map is a mapping tool that allows you to visualize factors contributing to food insecurity across Maryland in order to identify gaps in service and promote a more equitable food system. This information can help inform policy development, guide operational decisions, and identify supply chain vulnerabilities. The map is jointly maintained by the Maryland Department of Emergency Management and the Maryland Department of Information Technology. At the time of this video, the map contained 59 different map layers. Some of these layers are maintained by the state government, some by the federal government, and some by private partners. This means the updates to data in the map will vary depending on where the data came from, but the map will be maintained on an ongoing basis. To get to the map, you must go to the Maryland Food System Resiliency Council website and click the tab that says Maryland Food Insecurity Map. You will see a link to download a Maryland Food Insecurity Map navigation guide, which will save to your device as a Word document. The document contains important information about how to navigate the map and access data, so we recommend you read it before getting started. You can then click the button that says View the Maryland Food Insecurity Map to open it. The first thing you will see is a pop-up explaining the basics of how to use the map. Click outside this box to begin. As a default, the legend on the left side of the screen and data table at the bottom will be open. You can click the tab here or the X or collapse buttons here to close these two features. Up here, there are two user profiles to choose from. The map is defaulted to the food access profile, but you can toggle between each profile to visualize different types of information. The changes you make in each profile will be saved if you toggle between them until you close your browser window. For now, we're going to use the food access profile. These icons located at the top right of the screen allow you to switch between the legend, which explains the various map symbols, and the map layers, which allows you to view and hide the available data layers. Layers can be turned on and off using an eye icon to the right of each layer. For layers currently turned on and visible on the map, seeing the eye icon will require you to hover over the layer with your mouse. Clicking the eye will hide this layer. Some layers contain different subcategories, allowing users to view more specific information. It's important to note that if you want to view a layer that is a subcategory of another, the broader layer must be turned on. So if you want to view the Maryland Food Bank layer, you have to make sure the Food Banks layer is turned on, otherwise it will not be visible on the map. The three dots to the right of each map layer allows users to perform various actions. These actions include setting a filter, adding a layer to the table, and exporting map layer data. These actions cannot be performed for the layers that also serve as categories for other sublayers. When you click the Actions button, a pop-up will appear saying no available actions. Some layers may also only allow certain actions, like setting a filter or adding a layer to the table. The actions you can perform depends on whether the map layer is maintained by a third party, like the Department of Information Technology, as permissions may be limited on what actions can be performed. When setting a filter, you can add a clause or clause set. From there, you can choose between different relational operators and the source type. To apply the filter, you must then click the toggle in the upper right. When adding to the table, you can simply click the button and the map layer data will appear. It is important to note that the map layer must be turned on for it to be visible in the table. When exporting data, a list will appear so you can choose between different software. You can also search for specific places on the map using the search bar. Results can be filtered by Maryland Multi-Role Locator or ArcGIS World Geocoding Service. If we search for the Frederick Rescue Mission Food Distribution Center, the map will zoom in on this location and its corresponding data point shows us that this was sourced from the Maryland Multi-Role Locator. Clicking on this data point will open the pop-up information box with its address. If we look at the legend, this location has a circle symbol indicating it is a Maryland Food Bank resource. Clicking on the symbol will open another pop-up box containing important information about how to access and learn more about the resource. Each pop-up will have an Actions button you can click to view the data point in the table and mark the location on the map. If we zoom out, you'll begin to see clusters form, which have numbers indicating how many data points or features are in each cluster. When you click on a cluster, it will tell you the number of features. Clicking Browse Features will take you to a list containing this cluster summary and features of the cluster. You can click on a feature to navigate to its pop-up box. In the corners of each pop-up box, there'll be a left and right arrow and a Select Feature button. Both can be used to navigate between the different pop-up boxes for each feature. Once you are done with the pop-up box, you can either dock it to the corner of the screen, collapse it where it is on the map, or X out of it completely. Briefly, we are going to switch to the Policy and Research profile. In this profile, you can click on the different census tracts to get more information on them, and their Fresh Food Gap Score, which is the default map layer visible on the map. The Fresh Food Gap Score is a Maryland-specific measure of healthy food access created for the Maryland Community Business Compass. Next, we're going to look at the interactive data panel and how to use it. You can populate data in the chart in two ways, by performing the Add to Table action for a specific data layer as discussed earlier, or by clicking on the drop-down menu at the top of the chart. Again, only map layers that are turned on and visible on the map can be added to the table. Once your desired data is in the table, you'll be able to see its location and contact information along with any other important notes about access. In the top right of the table are various actions you can perform. Two will be gray and unavailable until you select a row. Once you do, the buttons will turn red. These buttons allow you to show your selection so only the rows you highlighted appear in the table, and clear your selection so all rows are deselected. The other tools available are refreshing the map, hiding columns so you can deselect any columns you do not want to view, filtering by map extent so only features seen in the current zoom or frame of the map will appear in the table, and performing actions. When no rows are selected, you can set a filter and zoom to or pan to on the map. When a row is selected, more actions will appear. These include zooming or panning to the selected rows, showing the rows on the map, showing the pop-up box, viewing only the selected rows in the table, and adding a marker on the map. So now that we have discussed how to use the map, let's run through a couple scenarios. If I was curious about the different food pantries in Anne Arundel County, I could hide layers that are not currently relevant, then turn on the jurisdiction-specific resources layer, and make it so that the only data I see on the map are food pantries in Anne Arundel County. If I look at the table, I can see that since this is the only map layer visible on the map, it is the only data populated in the table. Now, if I only wanted to know more about the food pantries in Severn, I can click Actions, Set Filter, add a clause, filter by city, choose a unique source, and select Severn. Once I press the toggle, the filter is now applied, so on the map and table, only food pantries in Severn are shown. I can now zoom to a specific food pantry, leading by feeding, add a marker so I know to come back to it, and check out their website, which is included in the table. As you can see, some rows in the map disappeared because filter by map extent is selected. If I wanted to see all the food banks in Severn like before, and not just the ones that can be seen on my zoomed in screen, I just need to turn this filter off. The next scenario will be done in the Policy and Research profile. Let's say I wanted to look at food insecurity across Maryland and compare it to the available retailers accepting SNAP EBT benefits. I'd begin the same as before by hiding all the unnecessary map layers, so only the SNAP/retailers accepting SNAP EBT layer and food insecurity layers are visible. In this layer, Maryland is split into census tracts. If we look in this area and pull up the legend, we can see these census tracts in Frederick County are classified as a healthy food priority area. If we click on a tract, we can get more information about its income, poverty rate, and access qualification, which in this case is low access. If we zoom in, we can better see the clusters of retailers accepting SNAP EBT benefits. You can then use this information to make comparisons about food access and identify gaps that exist in certain areas. If you have any additional questions or comments regarding the Maryland Food Insecurity Map, please email mdfsrc.mdem@maryland.gov. Thank you.